All right, let's talk about something we all deal with, but, kind of hate talking about failure. Today, we're going to totally reframe it. Think of it less like an ending and more like the actual blueprint for becoming resilient. Let's get right into it.
You know that saying, we admire the stage, but we don't see the rehearsals? It's so true, right? We see the big win, the perfect final product, all the success. But what we totally miss is all the grit, the doubt, the thousands of little failures that were happening backstage the whole time.
But here's a question that could change everything for you. What if all that messy, painful, behind the scenes stuff, what if that's the actual story worth telling? Okay, so that leads us right into our first big idea here, the unseen rehearsal. Look, we're all taught to measure success by the stuff people can see, right? The fancy job title, the money, the awards. But that way of looking at it just misses the most critical part of the equation. How many times did you have to fall down and get back up again to earn any of that? And here's the thing about failure, it's almost never one huge, spectacular explosion. Nah, it's usually this quiet chain of really stressful private moments. Like those times you thought you were ready for something, and it turned out you weren't. Or when you put your trust in someone, and it got shattered. It's way more of a slow burn than a big bang.
And all of that, it brings us to the personal cost, the real toll of just trying. We're calling it the weight of failure. And this is where it gets real, folks. Because failure isn't just some logistical problem. It's an emotional gut punch. It's that feeling of shame, that gnawing self-doubt, that little voice inside your head that just won't shut up.
A lot of the time, it starts with this thought, I just wasn't ready. You know the feeling? You step up to the plate, you take your swing, and bam, you realize you were totally unprepared for the pitch. It's a really humbling moment, and sometimes it happens right out in the open for everyone to see.
And that feeling, it can twist into something that hurts even more. It just wasn't enough. You gave it everything you had, you poured your entire soul into it, and you still didn't make it. Or at least, that's the story you tell yourself in that moment.
And man, if you let yourself get stuck there, failure starts whispering its most toxic, most dangerous lie of all. Maybe I'm not enough. Suddenly, it's not about the project or the effort anymore. It becomes a direct hit on who you are as a person. It's an attack on your very core. But listen, there is a way out of that downward spiral, and that's what this next part is all about. It's about a single question that can change literally everything. It's about making a deliberate mental shift from being a victim of what's happening to you to being a student of it. And this right here, this is the pivot point. We all start out asking, why is this happening to me, right? It's a question that just screams helplessness. The real game changer, the breakthrough, is when you can finally honestly ask, what is this trying to teach me? But let's be real for a second. Getting from that first question to the second, that's not a hop, skip, and a jump. That journey can take years. But once you do start asking that new question, everything changes. You can start, decoding failure's lessons. This is where you really learn to stop seeing failure as the judge's final gavel and start seeing it as just data. So here's the big takeaway. We have to completely change our definition of failure. It is not an endpoint. It is absolutely not proof that you should just give up. It's data. It's feedback. It's literally the raw material you need to build the strength and capacity for whatever life throws at you next. And what does that raw material actually build? Well, take a look at this. Every single one of these amazing qualities is forged in the fire of struggle. Failure? It teaches you humility, fast. It forces you to learn brand new skills you didn't know you needed. It shows you exactly where your personal boundaries need to be. It teaches you patience, discernment, and real, deep, emotional strength. All of this adds up to one thing: resilience. And this is maybe the most important idea of all. Failure does not mean you are not enough. It simply means you are stretching. You're pushing just beyond what you can do right now. It's actually a sign that you're growing. It's proof that you're reaching for that next, better version of yourself. Okay, let's bring this all home in our final section, which we're calling Built by What Broke You. And it really gets at this incredible truth. So often, our greatest strengths are forged in the very moments that we felt our most broken. Because growth isn't like flipping a switch, It's not one giant leap from beginner to master. It happens in layers, one on top of the other. You learn, you try, you fail, you adjust your plan, and then you rebuild.
just a little bit stronger this time. It's a cycle that just keeps repeating. This really puts it all into perspective. Think about it. When you see someone who seems so stable and grounded now, that stability was almost certainly built on a period of intense instability that they had to survive. That confidence you admire in someone, oh yeah, that was built on a mountain of self-doubt they had to fight their way through. And that clarity they seem to have, it was carved out of deep confusion they had to find their own way out of. Every single strength has a hidden story of struggle. Which brings us to this one final powerful thought. Failure was not a detour. It was the design. Just let that sink in for a second. It wasn't a mistake or something that went wrong along the way. It was the way. It was the whole point, the necessary ingredient for building the person you were always meant to become.
So, as we wrap up, the point of all this wasn't to celebrate failure. It was to understand what it's for, to start seeing it not as some final judgment on who you are, but as a powerful tool for who you're becoming. So the real question isn't if you'll fail, because you will, we all do. The real question is, what are you going to build with it? What are your failures building in you?